So today we're going to talk about anxiety and, first of all, why it exists and why it ends up consuming your life. And again, my name is Lydia Catherine. I am the owner here at Beat Your Anxiety. I'm a board certified hypnotist and peak performance coach. And my goal with this group is to really help everybody here cut through all the nonsense. So it's like we're done wasting our lives here. We're done running into walls. Enough of the runaround from other people, from doctors, from your friends. My goal with this group is to help you just cut right to the solution, because time is a precious thing. Yesterday is gone forever. We don't get another day to like yesterday and last week and the last decade is gone. And oftentimes people spend their whole lives running around in circles trying to get their lives back because you're getting, gaslit from doctors. You're being told one thing, your friends are telling you another, and these things are not working. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later. As you can see, I'm really excited about this topic. And I'm also very passionate about this because I was on this road as well. I was being pointed in all these directions. I was put on like 5 different medications, and the anxiety wasn't getting better. Can you relate? Like, have you tried one thing or another, or this prescription drug, and you've done therapy and you've done meditation and you've tried all these YouTube videos and you've read all these books, but nothing is actually changing? Like, your life is not getting better. Can you all relate? Does this sound familiar? And I, like a lot of you here, was running around in circles trying to figure out, how do I get back to normal? How do I get back to the way I was like 5 years ago or 3 years ago or even a year ago, right? And first of all, I want to talk about why anxiety exists, because I see a lot of people struggle with anxiety because they demonize it, because we tend to make anxiety sound like some kind of evil thing, like it's some kind of evil thing, like anxiety is some kind of evil force that attacks us and comes out of nowhere. And I'm excited to see everybody here, and I'm glad I got this working. I don't know why my computer was not opening the right Facebook Live. Anyway, the first step to reclaiming your life from not only just anxiety, but from your emotions, is you first have to be friends with your emotions, because they are part of you. They are part of who you are. They come from inside of you. And so if you're always demonizing anxiety, you're going to be demonizing part of yourself. So the first step here, before all the books, before the meditation, before you can even start to be in a place where you can just shut off your anxiety like a light switch, because this is what I've taught myself to do. I can just shut off my anxiety within minutes, just like that. And this did not happen overnight, but what I'm going to do in this group, and my goal is to walk you through how I did that. Because I used to be that person who struggled with panic attacks at work, panic attacks sitting in restaurants, panic attacks just sitting on my couch. How many of you can relate? Do you get panic attacks just doing nothing? Like just sitting inside your house? Like it became so ridiculous. But I didn't feel like I was in control. So there was something else controlling me. So the first step here is to stop demonizing anxiety. Start to be curious about it. Start to make friends with the part of you that's giving you this signal, because that's all anxiety really is. It's protection. Anxiety is the whole reason you're alive today. If we didn't have anxiety, you would not be alive, because anxiety is the emotion that has kept you from walking into the street walking into a highway when there's cars flying by. Anxiety is the reason you haven't jumped off a cliff. Anxiety is the reason you haven't scaled the heights of buildings. Like you haven't been walking around and testing your limits. Now, some people do this. Some people have a smaller amygdala, but anxiety is the reason you're not putting yourself in life-threatening situations. You're not walking up to a tiger or a bear and saying, "Hi there, how are you?" Right? Think about it like this. Let's say you're out in the wilderness and there's a giant 10-foot bear coming at you. And I don't know how tall bears are, but I'm going to assume that's a tall bear. It's not enough just to have the thoughts of, I got to get out of here. That thought alone is not going to get your butt moving and your instincts getting you out of that situation. So anxiety is what kicks that adrenaline into high gear that says, I got to get out of here, and you bolt. So start to look at anxiety from a different perspective here, that it's trying to help you. Your anxiety is doing its best to help you. This mechanism isn't the smartest thing in the world. And we get to forgive that part of ourselves for not knowing better right now. This is the first step. Start to change your perspective on this thing called anxiety. Start to be curious about why it's there. Not punch it away, not get angry, not wrestle with it. But to be curious about why it's there. That's the first reason people struggle with anxiety. That's one of the missing keys here, is to just start to embrace it. I'm not saying live with it the rest of your life. I'm saying be curious about why it's there. Why is the signal coming up? Because that's all anxiety really is a sign or a signal from your body to let you know something's out of balance. That's all anxiety is there for, is to let you know that something's out of balance. That is my first point. And the next piece I want to jump into is the reasons why it ends up consuming our lives. The reasons why we end up wrestling with anxiety versus doing what I'm talking about here, which is befriending it and being curious about it. And I've listed a few points here I'm going to run through real quick because I know we've gone over it already. Is first of all, the runaround we get from doctors and from your friends and from your family. Go try this, go do that, take that drug, go do that meditation. These things, if you're not already going in the right direction, these things don't even matter. If you're not already in charge of how you feel, then doing a meditation is not going to change anything. Doing some affirmations in your mirror, I've got this, ain't going to do anything. If you're not already going in the right direction, if you don't already know how your body works and how emotions work. And so this is another reason why people run themselves in the wall almost sometimes their whole lives sometimes. The next point is you listen to everybody but yourself. You listen to the doctors, your doctors, you listen to your friends, you listen to your family. Instead of yourself, instead of tuning into your thoughts and feelings, because guess what? Guess why you're here? You're watching this video. By the way, who is this resonating with? Who is running into a wall? Who's getting the runaround from friends, from doctors, other professionals? Who is this resonating with? Comment below. Let me know what's coming up for you. Let me know what you're hearing and if this is resonating with you. Like I said, this is a great place to practice speaking up and also get life coaching from me. This is an opportunity to get life coaching from me. So comment below. Why do you think you're stuck? Why do you feel like you're out of control? Why do you feel like you're not in control? What's resonating with you? Are you getting the runaround from people, even doctors? Are you listening to everybody but yourself? Because guess what? If you were listening to yourself, and which you are, right? Because that's why you're here. You listen to yourself. Oftentimes, when we listen to everyone but ourselves, we wind up doing things that are not helpful for us, but were helpful for other people. And it's time to stop doing that. That's a boundary. That's a boundary that needs to be set. We talked about this on Monday. And go inside yourself. Like, is being on 5 different medications, is it helping? And stop doubting what you're feeling and what you're thinking. Okay, it's not helping. Okay, we need to find something else. No more running around. I was working with a client her doctor was telling her a bunch of things. I've worked with many clients who doctors and therapists have told them so many things, only to confuse them more. How many of you here are confused? Put me in the comments. How many of you are just confused? You're just flat out confused on how to get in control of your emotions, and anxiety being one of them. Because I know the path, it is very frustrating. Go ahead and put me in the comments and let me know. And let everybody here know. And this kind of, we're all kind of human here. We're all on the same path. My next point is, we have unrealistic goals and unrealistic expectations. A lot of times when people come to me for anxiety, there's this expectation that it's like a magic wand, that it's just going to be like, I'm going to sprinkle magic fairy dust and anxiety is going to be gone forever. That's not how emotions work. In order for you to heal yourself, emotions are not an on and off switch. They're just not on and off. There's no switch on and off for emotions. However, a better goal is, how can I start to desensitize myself to this situation? That's a better goal, right? Not how can I sprinkle magic fairy dust and have this emotion be gone forever. Anxiety will never be gone forever. So I'm going to reset this expectation here right now. And this is also going to help you move forward so that you're not expecting this magical thing to happen, because it won't. This is not about eliminating anxiety from our lives forever. It will never happen, because again, we need anxiety for survival reasons, like I've talked about earlier in this video. A better goal would be to, how can I desensitize myself to this specific event, to bringing up conflict with my spouse, bringing up my feelings with myself. How can I desensitize myself to speaking my mind? How can I desensitize myself to being myself? This is a better question. How can I desensitize myself to speaking in front of a group of people? Or from going out on a date with someone who's really attractive? How can I desensitize myself to that? Because you can. And we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. My next point is, a lot of people, why they end up staying stuck is because they end up fighting their anxiety versus working with your body. Does this sound familiar? Do you end up fighting your anxiety instead of learning how emotions work and where it's coming from and why it's coming up in that moment? If this is resonating with you, comment below. Do you feel like you're fighting yourself? Like you're like doing this thing. You're like, go away, push away my emotions. You try to push them away. You try to stop them. You throw down a pill, hoping it goes away. These are not the language. Prescription drugs are not the language of the body, of the subconscious. This is why prescription drugs only will take you so far. What needs to happen is you need to learn the language of the subconscious of your body, where this problem is originating, the layer this is happening on, the subconscious layer. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit. The next thing is this leads me to just a basic lack of understanding emotions and how the body works. This was one of the reasons I was stuck, is because I had just a basic lack of knowledge around, just going to pull up comments here. Okay. I had just a basic lack of understanding about how emotions work. This was another reason why I was stuck. So the bigger reason here, when you step back and look at the bigger picture here, people often find themselves stuck and their lives being consumed with anxiety because you're busy listening to everybody else. You're not listening to yourself. You're not listening to the part of you that's saying, hey, this isn't working. I've been in therapy for 6 months and nothing's getting better. Okay, it's not working. Okay, I've been on this drug for 2 years. I'm not happier. I'm still having anxiety. Okay, that's not working. And stop second guessing your gut. If your gut is telling you this isn't working, it's not working. Stop second guessing yourself. This is another issue I'm not going to get into right now. We'll talk about self-doubt in the future and how to turn off doubt. That's another topic I love, is how to turn off self-doubt. You actually can do it pretty quickly. It just takes a little bit of practice and building that muscle. But stop doubting your gut. If your gut is telling you this thing isn't working, this process isn't working, it's not working. And maybe it worked for someone else, but it's not working for you. There are individuals I cannot help even as a hypnotist. And I'm very upfront about that. There's some people I just can't help, but I also know I can help a lot of you. So these are just the bullets as far as why I see people like running around and struggling with anxiety. You're fighting with it instead of learning about emotions, instead of working with your emotions. You're just taking on tips from other people. Stop doing that. Start listening inside. And real healing, true inner healing, is not commercialized. You will never see a commercial for hypnosis. You will never see a commercial I've never seen a commercial for acupuncture. In fact, I've never really seen a commercial for yoga. I've never seen a commercial for shamanism or for energy work. Never. And I would never do a commercial as a hypnotist. I mean, have you all ever seen commercials for this type of stuff? No. So real healing is not commercialized. What is commercialized? Prescription drugs is commercialized. Because the market, guys, I know this is probably news to some of you, but maybe not to all of you. The market doesn't care whether you heal. Okay? Whoever is producing these commercials, what you're seeing on the news, does not have your best interest in heart. Your boss doesn't have your best interest in heart. Your children don't have your best interest at heart because they're typically dependent and helpless, right? Your best friend is not going to put you before themselves. It's your job to decide to go inside and say, I need this, and to go get it. Because we're all human beings here. And, it's not about healing. Others putting you in front of themselves isn't going to help you. It's time for you to put yourself in front of you putting others in front of yourself. It's time to start making you a priority, and that should be one of the bullets here. The one of the bullets I missed here is you're not making yourself a priority. If you're running into the wall, if you're getting consumed by your anxiety, one of the reasons I often see is because you're worried about everyone else and what they think. And you're not worried about what you think. Guys, start paying attention to what you think. You are suffering. It's time to go after what you want and make yourself a priority. And that's a rant for another time. I'm not going to rant about that right now. Melissa's commented, I was not a constant anxious person, but I suffered a big constant anxiety attacks. Yeah. Not being able to speak or being heard was very tough. Yeah. Don't hold this in, guys. Don't hold this in anymore. Because if you do, this is exactly what's going to happen. So how else is anxiety showing up for you? When does anxiety show up for you? Because there's a reason that anxiety is showing up. It's typically to let you know that your life is out of balance. This relationship is out of balance. Your health is out of balance. It's there to let you know something's not in alignment. That's all anxiety really means, is something, this thing, this relationship, your emotions, your health, your family, your dynamics with people are out of alignment. That's all anxiety means. And if you take nothing away from this video except that will put you on your way. So where else are you having anxiety? Comment below. Comment below. Take this time now to get some coaching, right? Are you going to sit there and watch? Are you going to participate, right? Are you participating in life? Because oftentimes when we just sit here and watch videos and then we get off the video and then we just go about our daily lives, nothing's changing. This is also a habit I see people have. This is a habit. Do you go watch motivational videos? Do you go watch informative videos and then do nothing? This is also another habit that I see people have and will keep you stuck. It's all about taking advantage of every opportunity that comes in front of you, this being one of them. So comment below, where is anxiety showing up for you? So here, I want to talk about the missing key here that you're all tuning in to learn. I've talked about a lot of missing keys here actually, but this is the massive one that people are missing that they come to me to learn. We've already talked about how often we're fighting with anxiety instead of listening to it. That's one issue. What's really missing here, so you can be free of emotional torment, is self-awareness. This is the key here. This is why mindfulness is plastered all over the place today. Because if you don't have self-awareness, self-doubt and self-criticism. We're going to talk about this more in the future. Yeah, but just notice that. You get anxiety, Lillian. You get anxiety when you doubt yourself, when you criticize yourself. So what if you stopped those things? Just pause for a minute and think about that. What if you stopped both those things? Would you still have anxiety? No, right? If you stop doing those things. Yep. So notice, thanks for sharing, Vincina and Lillian. Notice your anxiety. You're not in a life-threatening situation. You're just talking to yourself. So here's an amazing insight. Engage in self-trust. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about self-trust, self-compassion. These are all habits when you think about it. Broken down, these are all habits. Talking to yourself is a habit. What if you started speaking kindly to yourself? What if you started to encourage yourself? Would you feel anxious if you encouraged yourself? If you gave yourself compassion? Not really, right? Like if you were like, hey, it's okay. And we'll talk, I have a whole workshop coming up in January about how to talk to yourself and treat yourself with compassion and also treat others with compassion. This workshop is going to go live. If you want to attend, the date for promotions will start January 3rd. So sign up when that goes out. I'll talk more about that in the future. Now, I want to talk about why is self-awareness important here? Because a lot of us have heard this phrase. It's being thrown around all over the place. Self-awareness, self-awareness, self-awareness. Why is this important? Because if you knew that, you'd probably go after it, right? If you saw the value in it, you'd do something about it. Why is self-awareness important? So first of all, the body is always trying to communicate with you. Your body is always sending messages to you. Anxiety being one of them. Or insecurity or frustration, whatever you want to call it. And if you don't know when this is happening, if you don't have enough awareness to understand and know when this is happening, you will not have control over it, right? In order to control something, in order to change something is a better word. In order to change something, we have to have awareness around what needs to change. It just makes sense. 2 + 2 = 4, right? We got to know when this thing is happening so we can grab the wheel. We got to know when we're going off the road and to grab the wheel to turn ourselves back, right? Does that make sense? We got to know when we're turning off so that we, turn ourselves back. The same works with emotions. Notice the symptoms. A great way to bring awareness to your anxiety so you can start to be in control of how and when and if this even shows up. Like I said, I've trained myself to the point where I can just shut off anxiety like a light switch. And it's because all of these things preceded that. Awareness around, when is your anxiety happening? What's the situation? Oh, I'm driving. Great. On highways. Okay, great. I'm talking about my feelings with my spouse or my friends or family. Okay, great. Perfect. We're narrowing it down. I'm getting ready to pack for my flight. Okay, great. Perfect. We're narrowing it down. When the room begins to fill up and I'm doing a public speaking and people begin to walk into the room, perfect. Boom, right there. We know the triggers. We got to know what the triggers are if we're going to desensitize ourselves to the triggers. Is this making sense to you all? Go ahead and comment below. Say yes if this is making sense to you all, so I know I'm not blah, 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 speaking French here. Put me in the comments if this is making sense, or yes in the comments. Okay, like this video also. Do it your way. If liking this video lets me know that you're understanding here what I'm saying, perfect. So we got to find the triggers. So important. And in order to do that, and while you're doing this, you're bringing self-awareness. You're bringing awareness to the self, yourself, in order to find the triggers. Good, find the triggers. Oh, when I'm getting ready to log into my meeting at work, or when my boss shows up at my desk. Boom, boom, boom. Good triggers. Got him. Perfect. We've nailed that down. Then the next step is, how do I know it's anxiety? First of all, what is changing inside of me? What is my experience that this is anxiety? And for people, typically, they're going to notice a few things first, right? I notice the very first step for my body to go into anxiety is I feel an adrenaline spike. I feel adrenaline go shoom. And as soon as I feel that adrenaline, that's when I push my button and I shut it down. So my anxiety doesn't go far. Lillian says, if I've made a decision and I have self-doubt and self-criticism. Okay. So here's the thing, the decision is not causing the anxiety. Remember, anxiety comes from inside of you. And this also goes back to my point of understanding where emotions come from and how they work. Anxiety is coming from inside you. So how are you creating anxiety? And I know this question is going to confuse some of you because a lot of people here think that anxiety comes from our environment. Nope. That will keep you in a powerless place. Start to recognize and start to research emotions, start to understand them. Anxiety comes from inside you. If anxiety was coming from the decision, then all of us would have anxiety making decisions. So anxiety doesn't come from decisions. Yeah. So here's a little, there's no such thing as overanalyzing. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as over anything. There's no such thing as overthinking. No such thing as overanalyzing. These things are all myths. I will talk about this in the future. So there's no such thing as over anything. Think about it right now. How can you be overthinking? How can you be overanalyzing? You're either analyzing or you're not. You're either thinking or you're not. So all of this is all gaslighting. These things are not helpful. So we'll talk about overthinking in the future. But recognize that your anxiety is coming from inside you. And what do you need to change? Stop doing the thing that's creating anxiety. This is really what it comes down to, is to stop doing the thing that's creating anxiety. If you're picturing yourself freezing up in front of a group of people, if you picture yourself going, if you picture yourself having anxiety, you're going to have anxiety. If you talk to yourself in a way that's very demeaning, that's rude, that's critical, of course you're going to have anxiety. What is it you're hearing? What is it you're seeing that is making you feel anxious? And oftentimes it's nothing outside of us. It's coming from inside of us. And when you start to understand the triggers, what are your triggers? Again, going back to self-awareness, the number one key that's missing here for most people, develop your self-awareness. If you want to be in control of your emotions, develop self-awareness. And I will dive more into this in the future. This is such a deep topic we're going to go into. I'll probably shoot this in the next week or so because I can already see this. We need to talk about this. Develop your self-awareness. Find out what are your triggers? What are the sensations in your body that tell you this is anxiety? Okay, I feel an adrenaline spike. I start to heat up. My breathing increases. My breathing gets faster. My heart beats faster. Good. You're catching it in the moment. You're catching it as it begins. Perfect. When it's happening, where it's happening, how it's happening. This is what we got to find out in order to desensitize yourself. Good. Perfect. Because in hypnosis, I'm going to tell you why hypnosis works. And I'm not pitching you hypnosis. I'm just letting you know the science behind it. Here's how you rewire your nervous system, because that's what hypnosis is about, is rewiring your nervous system. And guess what? Here's what's awesome is you can do this yourself. You don't have to hire me. You can. You don't have to hire another hypnotist. You can. It can definitely help to get that professional help to get you to jumpstart things. But you can I teach my clients self-hypnosis, which means when the science behind rewiring the mind, rewiring the body, is the minute that emotional charge happens, the minute you get angry, the minute you get anxious, the minute that happens, the nervous system becomes plastic, which means you can mold it into something else. The minute you charge up the body, you get angry, boom, shift your state to something else. Because what you're teaching yourself now, this is a process of re-educating your body. Are you all understanding what I'm saying? Does this make sense? Like this video, put yes in the comments. Let me know this is making sense for you, because we're getting into the science here. And I will definitely make a video on neuroplasticity going forward. When that old neural network lights up that says, oh, dogs are a threat, or seeing my husband's face is a threat, or seeing a group of people walk into the room where I'm speaking is a threat, or getting into my car is a threat. This is the network that's been built. This is what your body decided is going to make you anxious. Okay. Stop asking yourself why, because it's a pattern. That's the answer. The question why will lead you nowhere. So stop asking why. The answer is because it's just been happening. It's just been a pattern for however long. The question now becomes, how do I desensitize myself to that event? Shift your state. The minute you become angry, calm yourself down in whatever way you need to do. The minute you feel anxious, take a deep breath in, because now you're hijacking your breathing. This is going to work every time. If you hijack your breathing, slow down your breathing. Relax your body. Because here's the thing. In order to be anxious, there has to be tension in the body. If there's no tension in the body, if the body's relaxed physically, that is a state that is incompatible with anxiety. So pause, listen to that. Tension in the body means there's tension, means there's anxiety, anger, or something like that. If your body is physically relaxed, that is incompatible with anxiety. So what if you just started practicing being relaxed? You can't be relaxed and anxious at the same time. This is such a powerful insight that I learned. Is if you're relaxed, you can't be anxious. So here as we wrap up here, here's how to begin to work with your body now and become in charge of your emotions. Become in charge of them. Stop fighting anxiety. Stop fighting it. Stop throwing down pills to turn it off, because that doesn't really work anyway in the long run. Stop doing years of therapy. You don't have to sit around and talk. Hey, if it's helping you, if you're venting, you're getting something out of it, go for it. If you're expecting it to put you in charge of your emotions, no, it's not going to happen most of the time. Unless you have a great therapist who understands this concept of neuroplasticity, you're probably not going to go far. So stop fighting with your anxiety. Stop pushing it away. Stop wrestling with it. And stop making yourself wrong for it. Because we all deal with anxiety. So no more punishing yourself for it. No more shaming yourself for it. We all experience anxiety in places. That should be resonating with some of you right there. How many of you make yourselves wrong for your feelings? You say, oh, I shouldn't be feeling that. Or this doesn't make sense to feel that. No, it makes sense. There's a reason. There's a reason that's there. So this goes back to self-doubt. Stop doubting yourself. Just look at what's there. Look at the feeling that's there. And notice the feelings, the symptoms that show up in your body. So stop fighting it. Start noticing where it's happening. That's self-awareness. What are the triggers? How do you know you're anxious? What's happening in your body? My heart rate's speeding up. I'm sweating. No, don't avoid anymore. Don't avoid. Avoiding is not the solution. Here's the thing. You can avoid, but here's the thing. If your solution is to avoid what makes you anxious, then you're going to have to do that the rest of your life. You're going to have to avoid things to be anxious rather than leaning into it. Lean into it. Lean into the discomfort. Be curious about why it's there. It's like your body is like a superconductor of emotions. Emotions move in and they move out. And they move in and they move out. And let that happen. Let that process happen. Let emotions move in and move out. If you try to stop them with a pill. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by it's what I see in another person. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But look, you can always avoid anything. The question becomes, is that what you want? Do you want to avoid it? That's only a question you can answer. And ask yourself that. Do I want to avoid that? Do I want to? If the answer is yes, go for it. Then there's nothing wrong with that. Go do that. But if the answer is that's not what I want in the long run, I don't want to avoid this person forever, then don't do that, right? Like focus on what you want in the long run. And that'll help you make better decisions, more grounded decisions. Is that helpful? Does that help? And we have to log off here because we're definitely going over time. But here's the missing key is self-awareness. How do you build that? Start noticing the triggers. Bring awareness to when it's happening, with who it's happening, in what situations it's happening, what's happening in your body. Oh, my heart's racing. I'm sweating. I feel an adrenaline rush. I get shaky. I get tremors. Good. Because the body, the minute you can dissociate from that feeling, and we're going to talk about this as well. There's so many nuances here that we can't get into in 30 minutes, which is why Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, starting, we're going to start next Friday. I'm going to start Ask Me Anything Fridays. Ask Me Anything Fridays, which is going to be an hour block where you can ask me any question you want. We're just going to get on and go right into questions. Not this Friday because I think it's New Year's Eve. This Friday, something like that. So we're not starting this Friday. Starting next Friday, every Friday, there's going to be Ask Me Anything Fridays. I'm literally going to start the video and you all can just shoot off in your questions. So that'll help, I think, Melissa, with you getting into more depth here. But start with this. This is already homework for you guys. Is stop wrestling with anxiety. When you feel it coming, be curious. Don't push it away. Don't make yourself wrong. You're not stupid for feeling this way. Stop berating yourself everything you're experiencing is right. And there's a signal there telling you something's out of alignment. First step. Second step, build that awareness. Oh, I feel myself getting shaky. I feel light. I feel kind of loose. I can't really formulate sentences. I feel my heart racing. Good. Pay attention to that. And then do something different. Practice, and I'm going to talk about this more in the future. Practice relaxing and doing something different. Override, hijack your body. This is what I'm going to teach you in the future. How to hijack your body. How to hijack anxiety. And what we do is we're putting a roadblock. Where you used to go down this path to panic attacks. You go down this path, we stick a roadblock, you go off a different direction now. Where the nervous system wants to go that way, now we're going to send it that way. Because think about it. Anything that's not a panic attack, anything that's not anxiety is going to be success for you. Whether it's taking a deep breath in, whether it's go taking a walk, whether it's going to take a bath, whether it's meditating. Anything that's not anxiety is going to be success for you. And I'm going to talk more about that in the future. We're going to talk about neuroplasticity here, self-hypnosis, rewiring your nervous system to just shut up. Stop, nervous system. And I don't need you to be charged right now. I don't need you to be anxious right now. This is a safe situation. So I'm going to gently turn you off now. I'm going to turn off the anxiety. I'm going to shut it down for now. I'm going to re-educate. What we're doing here is re-educating your body. Re-educate your nervous system. That you're safe. That it's okay. And I'm so excited to talk more about that in the future. If this video has helped you, give this video a like. This lets me know that this is helpful for you, that I'm speaking your language, that you're understanding what I'm saying. And I know you guys have a lot more questions. So starting next Friday, we're going to have Ask Me Anything Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be sending out a notice about that. So you'll get that notice about that the day before and also the day of. So like I said, we're just going to turn on. We're going to shoot off with questions. And this video will also be posted to my YouTube channel. I will send out the replay reminder later today. So everybody, make it a powerful and productive rest of your week. Go out there, go be in charge of your life, go take charge of your emotions, go decide who you want to be, how you want to start to show up. It's time to rewire your nervous system, re-educate your body, and that it's safe, that you get to be happy, that you get to have the things that you want in life. That's for you to decide. So let's go get it. Everybody have an amazing rest of your Wednesday, and I will talk to you all a little bit later this week. Bye, guys.